Balance is a key skill for all runners. It's a necessary component in agility. The better your balance is, the better your running performance will be, and it'll decrease your risk of injury. The standing stalk test is one of the best ways to assess this. In a recent study, adults in their 30s and 40s could stand on one leg for a minute or more. At 50, the time decreased to 45 seconds. At 70, participants could only stand for 28 seconds. How long do you think you can balance on one leg for? Specifically looking at runners over the age of 50, the stalk test has a direct correlation to the number of injuries you will sustain. And let's be honest, who wouldn't want a guarantee of decreased injury risk? So in this video, we're going to discover what a good stalk stand is for a 50-year-old runner and why it matters. We'll dig into how you can measure it, what it means, and why this information is important. And then we'll look at how you can improve your stalk stand. I've got Lindsay here with me today, and before we look at what a good stalk stand is, I think let's take a step back and look at what is a stalk stand and why is it so important.
So Brad, a stalk stand is really easy to do, and that's why it's such a valuable test. So to do the stalk stand, you need to stand on one foot, let's say your left leg for the sake of this example, with your right foot on your knee out to the side and your hands on your hips. So think of a flamingo standing out in a pan. Then you want to close your eyes and you have someone with a stopwatch that's now physically going to time how long you can hold that position for. As soon as your foot breaks away from your knee or your hands move away from your side, that is the end of the test. And the score is quite literally the amount of time that you held that perfect stalk stand for. The stalk stand is a measure of strength and proprioception. So do you have the strength to hold yourself up on one leg? And then the proprioception is, do you have the ability to detect shifts in your foot position on the ground so that you can adjust muscles to hold yourself in balance? If you have a poor stalk stand, that means that you're at high risk for falling, and as Brad pointed out, you're at high risk for getting injured when you run.
Okay, I'm definitely wondering about it now, and I'm sure you are too, and what is a good stalk stand score? But before we do that, Lindsay, let's talk about what affects balance and how we can fix it.
Strength is a really important part of balance, but more importantly, the importance of strength of what we call our intrinsic muscles, the little muscles that are in and around the joints, and how they respond to stimulus in the environment, and in particular to shifts in your body weight as you are trying to balance. We've got little sensors in our tendons and ligaments called Golgi bodies, and they actually detect shifts in how your body is moving, and your muscles switch on and off in relation to that. So that's one of the important aspects, is how the neural system is working and picking up on those signals. And secondly, the strength of those intrinsic muscles to then hold you up and in balance. We also react to changes in our environment, and we use sight as an important indicator of when things are shifting and to tell our body when to switch those muscles on and off. And finally, we've also got fluid in our middle ear that also detects these subtle shifts in our body position that then help us to stay upright. There are just loads of examples in the research that show that by doing basic proprioceptive or balance exercises, that you can greatly improve your ability to balance, reduce your risk of falling, and massively reduce your risk of injury. And those can be as simple as brushing your teeth while standing on one leg.
Okay, cool. Now that we know that, Lindsay, how do we know what a good score is?
Interestingly, Brad, there was very little information on what is good as we get older. But while I was researching that, what I realized is that actually, if you fall below a certain number, then you are at risk. And so essentially what you want to be doing is to make sure that you stay above the threshold for being at risk.
Okay, but seriously, Lindsay, what is a good score?
Brad, simply, we must target 25 seconds. 25 seconds puts you at low risk of falling. However, it still puts you at moderate risk of injury. What you want to do is target a stalk stand of 40 seconds, because that will take you from moderate risk to very low risk of injury, and that is what you should be striving for in your 50s, 60s and beyond.
Right, Lindsay, that's cool, but surely there's some implications to this.
Yeah, there's loads of implications, Brad. I mean, essentially we know that we can improve mobility, strength and stability, and those will lead to improvements in performance. So if you improve your body's ability to receive information in its environment and you get stronger, we're going to have improved biomechanics. If we have improved biomechanics, we will improve our economy of motion. In other words, you'll use less energy to perform the same tasks, which means you will run better and have a lower risk for injury, so you can also train more and train more consistently. You also improve your ability to never need help from other people, so that you can do all the things that you want to do on your own term. And very importantly, as we start moving into our mid-70s and into our 80s, you reduce your risk of falling, and that means you're going to reduce the risk of needing a caregiver as you get older.
Okay, so knowing your stalk stance score is great, but if you pair it with the video that's on screen now, it becomes a powerful predictor of physical disability as you get older and helps you evaluate your overall health.